It's that time again for the assault on your ears. Experts refer to as Lower Dorks, a Star Trek Lower Decks podcast. Tonight, on our screens is the best Exotic Nanite Hotel. And in our cups is the best Exotic Nanite... Wait, no. It's what is it? A sunset.
It's a drink.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, but it's with a twist.
With a twist. Yeah. What's the twist in this? So it's 1 part gin, 1 part rum, half part grenadine on the rocks, and get a little dash of bitters in there.
I think it's the bitters. I feel like...
This is the bitters.
Yeah, I don't think a bitters is supposed to go in a sunset. You know, but here's the thing. This recipe could be entirely wrong because I'm running off of memory, and I don't think I've had one of these in ages.
Interesting. Yeah, you know what? It's funny. When I was making this drink, I had forgotten the bitters at first. And I had a sip of it, and it's like, whoa, it's like very boozy. But then I was like, okay, I forgot bitters, so I'm going to go put in some bitters. And it actually tones down the booziness of the gin and rum quite a bit, and it actually made it very palatable.
Right!
So I'm kind of like drinking this faster than I should, I think.
Yeah, you know, that's my thing.
To the bitters.
The gin, rum, and grenadine, I remember that drink. So I think that is what a sunset is. But I also remember not being a big fan of it. And I'm like, you know what? I bet you bitters would add just that, like, it would kind of like, not smooth it out, but like tone it down a little to make it more palatable.
Right.
And yeah, like, I think
That's
this is fantastic. I'm really enjoying this.
Yeah.
What kind of rum are you using there?
I think I'm using Captain Morgan. I'm actually using spiced rum. I don't know if that makes a difference or not. It's the only thing I had, I think. So.
You know what? I'm never going to knock spiced rum. I'm never going to knock Captain Morgan. When it comes to spiced rum, I feel like they are the go-to. Their dark rums, not so great. But yeah, definitely the go-to for spiced rums.
Is that what are you using?
Oh, I'm using the Captain Morgan, but my rum is the dark rum. And it's
okay.
Don't do it. It's a bad idea.
Well, here you are drinking it and saying it's a good time, so maybe it's a good idea.
You know what? I'm enjoying it, but yeah, I definitely feel like a little bit of spice over the darkness would be better.
Well, shall we talk about this episode a little bit? The best Exotic Nanite Hotel.
That's why we're here. So let's what's that episode description?
So we're going to talk about once again the Paramount Plus episode description. And it goes, the Lower Deckers hunt nanites on our resort in space? With question mark, exclamation point after it.
Jesus, dude. I give you a hard time about your episode descriptions, but I feel like you at your most drunk could write a better description than that. Whatever intern they assigned this to phoned it in. Oh my God.
By the way, Dos Cerrito is still just Dos Cerrito.
They're not going to fix it. I mean, it's not going to get them new viewers. You don't fix things unless it's going to bring value to your production.
That's right. Why expend the money when the Lower Deck viewer will watch Dos Cerrito as much as Dos Cerritos?
Dude, like, they don't even have to name the episodes. They could just be like, this is episode 1 of season 4. And I would be like, I guess I'm going to watch it. Click.
You know, it's funny because usually they'll at least, if you recall the last, one of the last ones we talked about, the B plot was described as 10D pirates. And at least here, like, they don't even have to talk about a B plot because it all happens in the same place.
It happens in the same
so
place,
all they need
but
is in space.
It's 2 very different plots, right?
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Yeah, God, man. I just, you know what? At the very least, get somebody who's enthused to do their job. I will.
What, the
I
in
will
space didn't do it for you?
You know what? I love in space. You add the in space, and it normally wins me over. But God, man.
Not enough this time?
No, it's not enough to fix this hot garbage. Come on, Paramount. Get it together. Oh no, Paramount Plus didn't do as well as we thought. I wonder why.
Because that that person doing the metadata descriptions is having a hard time.
I think, though, that is indicative of a deeper problem, Paramount. Get it together.
I cannot wait until we rank these. In fact, we need to make a note now to rank
that?
these metadata. I think we should at the end.
I mean,
just to see which one is the best.
Of the whole series or just this season?
I don't know. Why not both? Okay, the series is ending. We could do the whole series if we wanted to.
Yeah, I think we should do that. As soon as this season is over, the whole series. Let's turn our channel channel. No, let's turn our podcast into a top 10 podcast where we just rank things from Lower Decks.
I like it. Hey, that'll get us the clicks. The algorithm favors the lists.
Yeah, I figured you would like that, Stavros.
Let's actually talk about the episode then, shall we?
I mean, that's why we're here, right?
That's what I heard. Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah, me too.
There are multiple plots, yeah, but they all take place on this resort ship, basically, the Cosmic Duchess. And you know what's funny? They specifically call it a cruise ship and not a station, which means that huge-ass Cosmic Duchess actually can fly places, I guess.
I remember reading a sci-fi novel, and one of the things they referenced in it was a cruise ship. That was the whole thing. It just, it had like the Battlestar Galactica style FTL travel, where it's all like you just kind of teleport. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they were on this cruise ship that just went from world to world. Right. And you know what? I'm on board for that. I mean, I think this is in the world of Star Trek. This is a thing that might actually exist. I'm not 100% sure because I always question how these things happen when you live in a post-scarcity society. Like, I want to get away. Like, do you need a cruise ship, or would you just be like, hey, can I borrow your shuttle, buddy? And your buddy's like, well, okay, I ain't using it right now. I don't know.
Just like that, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
You know, this is interesting thing that while we're talking about it, the Cosmic Duchess reminds me of is the station that appears in the opening credits for Strange New Worlds. I think is it supposed to be Earth Space Dock? One of those ones where like the different biomes appear in the different spheres.
I feel like this is that thing, the space station we saw, is this ship, right? I don't recall seeing that exact scene here, but I think that's what it is.
Yeah. But the look of this ship, not a station. I keep on wanting to call it a station.
Well,
because it's so huge, it's a ship.
Well, it's not even that it's huge. Yeah. It just fits the design of stations, right?
Right. It really does.
Yeah.
Yeah. But wow, does this ship look awesome. The opening shot where it's kind of backlit by the sun, and then the lighting changes and you get the more details of it, while like the kind of Firefly-like ships kind of float around it. Amazing. And there's some shots later in the episode where you get some different views of it. It looks, I mean, it's weird because there's definitely some artistry at work. I think the combination of artist and director on this episode really makes it look freaking cool. Cooler than it deserves to be, I think, in some ways, but it looks really awesome.
I am always impressed with the visuals that this show comes up with. I can't state that enough.
So it looks really great. I got to give them major props for how it looks. Let's see what else. Oh, so before the split into the two, like the two different plots that are happening here, we get the Warp Drive 5 all together doing the walk and talk. And it's funny. I don't know if we've ever seen all 5 characters doing a walk and talk at the same time. By 5, I mean the 4 plus T'Lyn, of course, your favorite character.
I mean, let's not talk about that right now, because I've got some feelings about T'Lyn in this episode.
T'Lyn.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say, there are definitely T'Lyn things happening. Should we go through the plots first and then talk about T'Lyn?
Well, I mean, I'm going to have a hard time referencing it as we talk through the episodes, like avoiding the references. Yeah. Let's focus on whatever you want to focus on.
Okay, let's do it. So let's talk about the plots then. So they all split up, and Boimler joins up with Ransom and Billups to do I called it the Boimler cannon fodder plot. But let's talk about Boimler first. He's got his beard is starting to come in. There's like 5 or 6 whiskers coming in there.
It's so funny, like, because from the previous episodes to this episode, it's clearly they're showing it growing. And I was thinking about this, and I'm like, this is obviously a reference to growing the beard, the trope. Right. Mm-hmm. And I actually love that it seems like their statement in this season is, this is like how you actually grow the beard.
Literally, you mean?
Literally, yes. Like, no, figuratively, the metaphor, the growing the beard trope. Oh my God. Stop leading me astray. But I was thinking about this, and I'm like, in live action, like, this would be so hard to do. Because,
impossible, I would say, almost.
I don't think it's impossible, but you would have to have like huge coordination for, taping episodes. And I just, I mean, I guess that's like why it's never been done before, but I'm really looking forward to this. And this is one of those areas where I feel like animation, and this is like traditional style animation, but even like things like modern CG animation can really bring value to the medium. It's just this kind of thing, showing that background, steady process, steady progress that is really hard to show. I don't know why I'm hyper focusing on this, but I really like that. I think it's really cool.
Do you think by the end of the season, Boimler, like at the last episode, Boimler will have finished growing the entire beard?
I would not be surprised if that is the theme of this season. But I think he probably won't grow the full beard in the final episode. I think it'll be an episode or two before. And the final episode will be him choosing to shave the beard. And shaving the beard is going to be a symbol of him choosing to be his own man rather than living as others have lived, right?
Yeah, that's high hopes. Because you're right, he's trying to be that parallel Boimler right now by growing the beard in general. So I hope it does result in him, shaving it like you said. I didn't think of that, but that would be the optimal thing to see, I would think.
I think that's a really good arc for Boimler in this season, because previously he's been very much emulating other captains, like his heroes in Starfleet. And now we've had the arc of him learning to be like, I don't need to emulate other people. I need to be my own person. Mm-hmm. But now he's emulating other hymns. And I think that's a really cool story arc.
Yeah. Do you think they'll be able to resist, by they, the people that make the show, are going to be able to resist like the Riker reference just by him permanently having the beard?
I feel like they don't need to reference it.
Right.
And honestly, I hope it's Riker that calls it out. That would be fantastic. You and me both suspect we're going to get Transporter clone Boimler. Mm-hmm. And I would love it if in that episode we get Jonathan Frakes back as Riker.
Yeah, that would be awesome. You don't need that beard, Boimler. I can always...
Or even something like, I see you're growing the beard, Boimler. I'm a fan. Or like, I remember when I grew the beard.
And that will be enough. I don't know. That'll make him keep it, though. I'm
lampshaded. You know what? That could even be in the final episode where he's just like, I don't need the beard, Riker.
Ooh, I would like that. That's a season goal.
Yeah,
an end of series goal. Boimler becomes his own man and shaves the beard. Let's talk more about the plot then. So, as I said, Ransom has recruited Boimler to... Oh,
yeah,
you have something else?
Well, I mean, we're going to talk about the plot because Ransom is going to recruit Boimler.
Right.
And when he does, though, it's immediately after Boimler has an encounter with one of your favorite characters.
One of my favorite characters?
Yeah, Jet.
Oh, yes, of course. Jet's return.
Yeah, without hands? What the fuck?
So I want to talk more about Ransom because there's all of these things happen in this plot, and that's all well and good. But I want to get right into Ransom's motivations in bringing Boimler, and then how that extends to Jet's injuries and overall bad time when it comes to following Ransom's orders.
Okay, we can do that.
Yeah, because in this plot, he brings Boimler along, as it turns out, because he, is competent or overcompetent. Ransom even says, but I mean, does he have some major command style issues here? Because obviously Boimler is qualified, like he says, but like sending him into danger, and then like a pattern. So he has a command pattern where he sent Jet to do dangerous stuff too. Like, what is going on with Ransom's command style where he's sending people off to do this?
I am of two minds on this, right? On the one hand, it continues the character assassination of Ransom that I hate. But on the other hand, like, Boimler makes sense, right? He needed somebody to fill a role, and he thought Boimler would be good for it. And he explains to Boimler, and even apologizes, where he can see how Boimler could take that as Ransom being cruel. The other problem,
his intent.
The other problem though is Jet. Jet does not like dangerous situations. Jet is terrified of these missions. But Ransom is all like, Jet loves dangerous missions. And here's the thing. Jet is an officer. You know, we all hate Jet. It's not just me. It's not a weird thing that I have where I'm fixated on Jet being the worst. And I can't figure out why. And now I'm starting to question my whole worldview.
Yeah.
No, it's Jet is the worst. So it's entirely possible Jet at some point gave Ransom the impression that he loved dangerous missions.
That's the only thing I can think of, but
like
come on, Ransom.
But then Jet is like, I'm running away at the end. I don't want to do this.
I just got my hands.
Yeah. And
so funny.
And Ransom is all like, come on, Jet, we're doing this. And it's just like, come on, Jet. I mean, Ransom.
He's trying to mask that as effective leadership.
Oh, my God. You know
I don't know, Ransom.
I don't know.
Like you said, character assassination.
Yeah, it's definitely not in character. I'm very disappointed.
He's trying to help Jet evolve by having him lose his hands every once in a while.
I will say, though, his whole thing with Boimler, where he's like, I was just trying to give you the chance to shine. Like, yeah, that's good leadership. That's leadership 101, where you know you can resolve something. You know you can do something. But you pass it off to a subordinate who you know is really good at this thing. Because you want to give them that limelight. You want them to get the same joy from this that you do. So, you know what? Yeah, it was attempted character assassination in Ransom. But, you know, obviously Boimler took the bullet and was a jackass. So
he just needs to not be an a-hole about it, maybe, is the thing.
Yeah, Boimler definitely needs to not be an a-hole about it. Just do the thing, man.
Yeah, that Boimler's reaction to everything, I think we'll definitely talk about too. But Ransom, I'm talking about, he needs to not just be like, hey, how about those crystal spiders that chop off your hands or whatever it is that he tries to get Jet to do at the end.
Oh my God.
Get it together, Ransom. Boimler's gunning for your job, man. But anyway, let's move on to the beach bar scene. So, you know,
oh my God,
Ransom gets Phillips and Boimler to go. So they go onto the Cosmic Duchess in this beach bar. First of all, I have questions about the artificial sun doing tans on people.
That is not how suns work.
How does that freaking work?
So is there just like light beams being projected from like a central disco ball? So every person gets... God, it doesn't make any sense, dude.
Like their own individual tans?
Yeah, let's not talk about this. It makes no sense.
I'm confused. But there's a lot of other fun stuff in this scene.
I totally thought we were going to talk about Gallimites.
Yeah, well, we need to do that too. Gallimites was next. So, funny, Gallimites mentioned several times in DS9.
So here's the weird thing, though. Captain Bote. That's not right. How is it pronounced? I didn't watch the episode again. I don't know. Jadzia dated one of those things? They're like space monsters. Right. I try not to be judgy, but holy crap, Jadzia.
Hey, don't knock people's likes. Some people are just really into that kind of thing.
Yeah, and some people are into tentacle monsters. I don't know any of those people, but
maybe they're really tender lovers.
Yeah, you don't know. I mean, Jesus, dude, that is some monstrous nonsense right there.
Maybe you just caught them, like one of them had a cough or something, and that's when they got
that is not the problem. The problem is that they are space monsters.
They just look like monsters.
And that is not the Star Trek way. The space monsters are people with prosthetics. Come on, man.
I know. Can you imagine trying to see one of those in live action?
Yeah, Roddenberry is spinning in his grave right now.
Oh, you pulled the Roddenberry spinning in his grave about Gallimites of all things.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Roddenberry is probably spinning in his grave because, women are not being treated as sex objects 24/7.
Oh, that burns. Too real. Too real.
And now we're getting canceled because the Roddenberry stands are coming out in force to let us know how much trash we are.
Yeah, well, you know what? Leave a comment and boost our algorithm that way. That's all I got to say about that.
Okay.
Yeah, Galamites, one thing. How about those Cretaceans? The last time we saw them was in Enterprise, I think.
Yeah, they were
where
Enterprise
they get all offended.
Aliens.
Yeah, because people ate in front of them.
God.
And so here's the thing about this, the Cretaceans. You think like they're hanging out by like a beach bar and they're not going to see some
Oh my God, exactly. It is dumb.
What do they expect was going to happen?
It's a great gag, but it is so dumb. And they didn't even lampshade it to where I can let it go.
No, not at all.
Yeah, that whole scene was just dumb. And you know what? It's
but hilarious is the thing.
It's hilarious, but it's one of those things where like they let the gag override their logical sense. And I know I shouldn't say
there's a lot of that happening in this episode. I think.
Episode is like that nonstop. So let's move on.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Yeah.
To the next nonsense.
To the skiing scene. Yeah. So they're following the Admiral Milius's people, and they're like, "Okay, we need to go to the top of that mountain." First off, how about those skiing outfits? Those like 80s or 90s outfits that they're all wearing. Very TNG era appropriate, I would think.
Yeah, it was
fun time.
Yeah, pretty solid. I feel like I've seen them before, but I can't place it. This has probably shown up somewhere in Star Trek, but they were definitely
skiing outfits.
Well, I don't know. I genuinely don't know. They definitely didn't show up in any of the TNG snow on the holodeck bits, but
yeah. But anyway, Bransom's like, okay, we need to climb up to the top of that mountain.
God.
And so they show them in the beginning of the scene climbing up to the top of the mountain. And then the camera pulls back and there's literally a ski lift that drops off people next to where they just climbed up the mountain.
Oh my God. It's such a great bit. And you know what? As much as I'm on about, the character assassination of Ransom, this is Ransom to a T, line? Right? Just do it the hardest way possible.
Can you imagine how long that must have taken?
Oh my God. And it's so good the way it's presented. Because, like, if you're just taking the episode as is, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
It's a series of scenes. But then you have that moment where it's like, wait a minute. They just climbed up here. And then it does the wide shot. And the ski lift is right there. Oh my God.
It's one of those like blink and you miss it kind of jokes that they don't even acknowledge in the episode at all. I thought it was pretty good.
Oh, it was so good.
I loved it when Boimler is chasing after the Denobulan associate of Milius and he goes off the cliff and there's just like, I mean, we're all used to Boimler screams, but there's this like 10-second long
level epic like
falls off.
Yes. Oh my God.
So
Jack
good.
Quaid is the master of screaming. And I don't know how you get there. Like, how does that become the thing you are great at? Jack Quaid, just tell us why you're so good at screaming. And you know what? We're here for you, buddy. Whatever happened to you in life. We'll
He's got these screams in Lower Decks and like the getting bloody from the boys. I mean, this dude is all over the place in terms of skill.
Yeah, apparently he is a hurt me daddy kind of guy.
I guess so. I love when the Denobulan pulls him out of the snow and she goes, I've never seen someone go over that cliff and live, mean, that implies that she's seen people go over the cliff and not live.
And you're going to now argue that is a perfect sign that he is not human.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
Really?
He did land in conveniently soft snow though.
Well, obviously. I mean...
Those gags were all great.
And that's it. Those gags are great. But the overall episode, it can't just be gags. The whole episode has to make sense.
Yeah. So that actually leads us to the final scene in this plot, which is where they go to visit Admiral Milius's.
Oh my God. The whole apocalypse
base.
Now in a post-scarcity society.
Yeah. They call it the AWOL Falls. So like, is this an area of the Cosmic Duchess specifically for AWOL people then?
I think they probably named it for their, because the Admiral's the only dude, right? Who's like really on board for what he's doing. Everybody else is just like cosplaying, right? This is a Renfest for, Star Trek, Starfleet fanboys.
Right. Yeah. The guy's like, I'm supposed to be at the buffet. But, I mean, so they find Admiral Milius there, and he's in, first of all, how about that sunglasses tan?
Oh my God. We've all
that.
been there. Don't judge.
You feel like the artificial sun that's stopping the tanning process when they're done would kind of be smart enough to, stop when the sunglasses are in the way or something.
This whole episode raises so many questions.
Totally. Completely. But, so Admiral Milius, we find out that he's here because he hates his assignments of milking space whales. And of course, I love how how'd you feel about it, calling it the Galaxy's Child Aliens, like referencing the name
You know what? I love the callbacks, but like calling out the episode specifically, like, and it'll be
like a little too much, maybe?
The episode title is on point, but it's
right.
Man, it's a bit too much. Yeah.
Like when you reference it in the universe as the Galaxy's Child Aliens?
Yeah. And like, I think in beta canon, those things are called Gekli.
Gekli, right. Star Trek Online calls them that too. I think.
But like, I kind of get it. Most people aren't going to like check memory beta to find the beta canon names for things. But you know what? Throw it in there. Come on.
Throw it in there.
Like,
canonize
the
it. Come
same
on.
people who aren't going to get a Galaxy's Child reference aren't going to get a Gekli reference. Just, why?
Anyway, so the dude is mad because all of his assignments are about milking the space whales. So the Galaxy's Child one's the Gekli, and the Gormaganders.
Gormaganders
showed up in Discovery.
Yeah. Wait, was that Discovery?
Yeah. I think so.
Oh, right. Yes, because it's the one where the inexplicably, like, to be clear, Mudd was pretty evil from the get-go, but he was like a mild evil, right? He's the guy who, blocks you from going through the walk light at an intersection before it changes. That was his level of evil in TOS.
Right.
And then he shows up in Discovery and he's like next level monster evil. And he shows up and he's like inside the Gormagander and he's got the time loop device where he's... And to be fair, it was, a mirror villain version of Lorca that he kills over and over again, but...
Right.
I don't know.
Still.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's what those space whales are from. But so he's mad about that his entire job is about milking those, and he's so mad that he goes AWOL, I guess. But what is going on where he can't just like leave his job?
Yeah, where does this come from? He could just and I will give credit. I will give credit. There have been instances in Star Trek where somebody's like, "I'm tendering my resignation," and their senior officers are like, "Yeah, I refuse that." But it's always been in like two scenarios, like wartime or like extreme circumstances. Or a moment where their superior officers like, take a step back, give it some time, and think about it. This dude has clearly done that. Just let it fucking go. Like, this is very not Star Trek, right? Starfleet is voluntary service on next level, right? He would have been allowed to just resign.
Yeah. I mean, you could easily explain this away. Probably with something. It's got to be something, right? Maybe he knows too much, or I don't know, something. Just have him be like, I don't like my job of milking space whales, therefore I'm running away and requiring, Starfleet people to, yank him back into service to do this job he hates. Like, how is that even a thing? It's just crazy.
Yeah, none of this makes sense. Just let him go.
Needs more. And what's best, and we're going to get into the next plot just a tiny little bit, but he's mad that he gets these crappy assignments, but then he reassigns himself, I guess, to take responsibility for the little ship that they find in the other plot. Like, how can he do that and be mad that he can't control his assignments? It's just a little logic missing there that I wish was better explained.
Yeah. And you don't even need the logic, but there's a certain level of comedy gold where like his only problem was that he just never decided to not have this assignment. Like, that would have been a hilarious bit, right? But they never did that bit.
Yeah. And like Boimler gets him to come back because he just like talks him into it.
Yeah.
And there's even this moment at the end of the show where he's like, yeah, I guess if I could talk a Starfleet Admiral to coming back, I'm really awesome. And I like the sentiment behind that, but like,
you know what?
It's just the logical thing there.
Don't shit on that. That scene is fantastic. It's great.
It's good.
Boimler moment.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's one of those words all like, yeah, Boimler is right. But also, Boimler started from a perspective of, this dude is telling him about a part of his job that he hated, and Boimler was excited about it. It's just, it's great. It's a great scene. It's a great concept. Despite all of the other problems in this episode, I love those moments. Yeah,
it's great. I just wish there was a little bit more better explanation for why Milius is being this maniac, basically.
None of that whole segment makes any sense. The B plot is basically there to be the B plot. There's no logic behind it.
The other interesting part is Boimler temporarily joins him and then apparently suffers no consequences for betraying his commanding officer for a few minutes. Well, he's just hanging out, and they have to kind of talk him into cooperating and bringing him in.
Yeah, well, I mean, the whole outside perspective is that, yeah, he was playing it cool. He was pretending that he had been turned.
Oh, okay.
I do love though that final like confrontation where he does the whole like lathers himself up. And then
he does. Isn't that a bit from like Family Guy where like they chase the greased up dude?
I don't think that is a reference to Family Guy, but that whole scene is super ridiculous and super fantastic.
It's like, very Boimler for sure.
Very Boimler, but also like that is not how handcuffs work. If you have ever been handcuffed, no amount of grease is going to resolve that issue for you. Like
the physics issue.
Yeah, like
fitting through the thing.
Maybe dislocating your bones in your hand might work. Yeah. But, oh, God.
Well, these are not professionals, right? These are like vacationers that...
yeah, dude. And I love that. I love the fact that everybody other than the Admiral is very not on board for this. This is just a fun thing.
Lay down your
lives.
Vacation. Yeah.
Oh, so good.
It's pretty funny. But yeah, I mean, that's the Boimler cannon fodder plot. Do you have anything to add on that before we get on to the other one, the A plot?
Yeah, there is a moment in the B plot where I felt like Boimler was really starting to consider betraying Starfleet. Mm-hmm. And that is just not in character for him.
No. Yeah. He was just mad that Ransom was giving him the dangerous jobs or whatever, but such a minor thing.
Yeah. I don't know. I love the canary in the coal mine gag, though, especially Billups is... He's not the canary in the coal mine, you bastards! And then it's like they both acknowledge him and Ransom that they have no idea what that's about. But Billups is just so like good. Such a supportive guy.
Yeah, what a great guy.
Ah, man, it's just such a great bit.
What's a canary? I don't know.
Yes.
So good.
Oh my God.
I thought that was pretty
Yeah, it was really a great bit.
Yeah, take advantage of that Billups cameo. Paul Scheer doing his thing.
You know what? Cameo? Billups is a crew member, dude.
That's true.
Yeah, we need more Billups. We need more Billups in Rutherford. I said that I had accepted, but Rutherlips, man, ride or die. I can't let it go.
Every episode you have this journey of like acceptance, but then now it's just all the way back to, you're not accepting that it's not going to happen.
Don't judge me. The dream will never die.
Can't for the dream. Yeah. All right, let's move on to the A plot then. I call this the Jeriner and Nanite plot.
Is this the A plot? I feel like this one had a plot and an alternate A plot. Both of these plots
it's like
were really strong.
Twinsies plot. Yeah. Maybe they're about the same. The other A plot then.
Yeah.
Jeriner and the Nanites. Let's just talk about Jeriner first. What did you think? The whole plot about them having they're not broken up.
I did not see this coming, but not gonna lie, I have straight up been in this situation where I have not wanted to tell someone that we needed to break up. And so my solution was just straight ghosting them for as long as possible. So on the one hand, yeah, that's a real trash thing to do. Both Mariner and Jennifer. And on the other hand, it's all like, yeah, I'm a trash human being. I really feel for you there.
They acknowledge that they're both trash.
Oh, yeah. No, it's...
But I don't know. I can't. I mean, we talked about this before about how Jen, when Mariner gets kind of framed for what's going on and gets deported to Starbase 80, and Jen just basically tells her to F off and gives her the candle back. That was a pretty clear breakup to me, man. And the fact that like Jen, I don't know, if I'm wrong, call me out in the comments, and Aaron, you too. But like, she wanted a chance to apologize. She had plenty of effing chances, dude. And based on what we saw in in that episode where she, basically doesn't believe Mariner, I don't know. She's completely in the wrong, I think.
Look, man,
continues to be a horrible
I
partner.
get how you cannot get this. There's a thing you need to understand. For those of us who are human trash bags,
okay,
doing the right thing in our interpersonal relationships is really effing hard. And you know what? Like, I literally have a note here where I'm all like, God, Jennifer is the worst. Gaslighting your ex-girlfriend because you are unhappy she didn't dump you? Jesus, what a monster.
That's pretty bad, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty goddamn awful. But I literally, thinking about this in retrospect, I'm like, I would do the exact same thing in her situation. Oh, you're going to ghost me?
You and Jen have something in common.
The first opportunity I have. I'm going to pretend like nothing is wrong. I'm going to make it seem like we're great. Yeah, so, I don't know.
I think you need to see a therapist.
Yeah, maybe. I've heard about this thing, BetterHelp. I'm not saying that they're our sponsor, because they are not. But hey, BetterHelp, if you want to sponsor us, I like money. Money is a thing I enjoy. You give us money, and we can talk about this more. But now, I'm cutting you off. Unlike the rest of my ex-girlfriends, who I didn't tell them why I was cutting them off.
Wow. I feel like we're exploring a new aspect of your personality that perhaps, I didn't want to even touch in the first place. So there is that.
Well, now my monitor is ruined, Stavros. Try not to say things like that when I am taking a drink.
Oh god. Okay, well, so there's that. There's of course the whole thing about them trying to track down the nanites. I love the new equipment we get on the officers in this area. They've got the kind of at first I thought they were kind of like some kind of like Ghostbuster backpacks.
They kind of are, right? They're like a combination.
They kind of are.
Because they're vacuum cleaners. And really that's what the ghost traps are in Ghostbusters. So these are like the combination proton pack ghost trap.
Do you think this is a intentional reference to the Ghostbuster proton pack?
No, not at all.
Thing.
I feel like they
it's
just
a fancy
there
fancy
that
vacuum.
Was random.
Yeah, it could be. Have we seen these earlier? I don't think so. Right? We've seen.
No, we totally did. They were in season 2, episode 29. They actually explained in detail what these things were. I remember this specifically because I'm making it up right now as I'm explaining it. No, we never saw these things.
You gotta touch the nerve, all because we talked about you needing therapy.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah. All right, well, let's talk about something else in the B.
Oh, how about the other equipment thing? How about the rifle net launchers that the two-handed rifle, and you fire it and it fires a net that will definitely catch nanites for some reason.
They thought it might work, and obviously it didn't, but it might have if the nanite goop was smaller. I don't know.
Right. Anyways, new equipment. I can't wait. I wish there would be a equivalent of the technical manuals that we've got for TNG and DS9 and whatnot. There needs to be a Lower Decks equivalent. I guess we did kind of get that with the Cerritos Handbook, but now we've got new tech. We need a Cerritos Handbook Part 2, I guess.
I will tell you, literally do not care. It's not a spaceship, so it's not something I care about. I care about two things, Stavros. I care about character and I care about spaceships.
Okay.
So,
and not the tech.
Maybe put a sentient spaceship in here with a character, and I will love you as much as Discovery. Which I did not love Discovery because it only had, like a few seasons with the sentient starship. So do a whole series with a sentient starship, and I will just be your stand till the end of time.
You heard it, Kurtzman. Make a series about a sentient ship, and Aaron will.
It's not about the sentient starship. Jesus, dude, do you not listen to me at all?
No, I try not to if I can help it.
God, I knew you were always just using me. Okay, Jennifer. God damn it! Let's talk about something else.
Yes, let's talk about the nanites. Of course, they find out that this nanite infestation was caused by a tiny little starship at a little Intrepid class. They call it the Endeavor.
Yeah. Oh, that was such a misstep.
How do you feel about that?
I feel like that was a misstep. Like, I get it. Like, the whole, they do the gag of, it's been a month of hell. And you're like, dude, Voyager. But they were
gone for 7 years.
Yeah, like, Voyager was at least a normal size. Like, what happens when you're, like, micro-sized? Is there a microverse? And are they interacting with other... There's so many questions here.
Yeah, this is tough because it's something about them being so small meant they couldn't detect the larger universe around them for some reason.
Well, not just some reason. It's like, think about now, right? And how do we know what our galaxy looks like? Well, we infer the shape of our galaxy from all this data we've gathered. But within our own lifetime, the shape of our galaxy has changed. Not like the galaxy itself, but our perception of it. Our understanding, if you will. So I'm actually okay with that. The bigger problem for me is not the whole mirror, like the mini Voyager reference. The bigger problem for me is the missed opportunity. It should have been a mini Cerritos.
Why?
Are you kidding me? The whole season is riffing on parallels.
Right.
The mini Cerritos plays into that. Every episode, they're encountering another Cerritos. And I know we're only 2 episodes in, so like this may not mean anything. But I feel like much like in, I can't remember what season that was, where the ships kept getting attacked by the mystery foe. That really could have worked.
Last season.
Yeah. Fine. Call me out for being too drunk to remember things.
I'm calling you out.
Yeah, I feel like in this season, that could have worked really well. Where they just keep encountering different versions of the Cerritos. That would have been fantastic.
I don't know. I'd be worried about that getting played out, but part of me is kind of even suspicious about this Endeavor because, in the Prime universe, they use the ship Endeavor a lot of times, and thank you Memory Alpha for being a source for this, but it's kind of unofficially been called a different class, Nebula, and it appeared a bunch of times. So there's kind of a mismatch between the Prime Universe Endeavor, which, again, unofficially Nebula class, but present in a bunch of different places.
But
so
that
could this be some kind of
in.
like tricksy?
They should have used a mirror Cerritos. That's all I'm saying. I don't care about your whole Endeavor research. Yeah, God,
you're just really upset about the therapy thing, aren't you?
God, why do you keep calling that out? I feel like you're trying to tell me something here. BetterHelp.
Maybe.
BetterHelp, people. Call BetterHelp.
There you go.
And BetterHelp, call
Not
us.
A sponsor.
We can help you for money.
So why did they make this D20? I'm just going to call it a D20. It's a icosahedron.
I mean, oh God, I can't not call it a D20. Yeah, so you were right. It's an icosahedron.
Right.
I could have, verified that you were right by doing a basic Google search, but I didn't.
No.
because I knew you were right.
You didn't do research?
And I have a real problem with you being right when I'm wrong.
Why is it that shape? Why did it turn out to be that shape? And why did it eat things? Like, why is it hollow?
Dude,
there's so many open questions.
Well, I mean, the hollow thing makes sense, right? Once it got
Why?
that large, it's just collecting things, right?
Why was it collecting non-energy things?
Well, I mean, because it needs parts. None of this plot makes any sense, Stavros.
It just needs to suck people up for some reason because of plot, I guess.
Well,
are we missing something here?
No, you're not. Well, okay. So, I don't want to get into this because none of it makes any goddamn sense. Okay.
Right.
So when something becomes mini, how does that work? So for people who don't know, we're all made up of chemicals. Right. Chemicals are just a collection of atoms. Those atoms from the periodic table of elements, I guess they're actually elements, whatever, are a collection of a smaller component, depending on, when you were educated. Me and you, we were educated way back in the past, where you had protons and neutrons and electron clouds, and that's all kind of falling out of favor.
Right.
Those are made up of smaller components, quarks. Right. And, it keeps regressing. So here's my question. What is smaller on the Intrepid? Do they have fewer molecules? Or are their molecules smaller? Are they made up of lesser quarks? I don't know. None of it makes any goddamn sense.
Did you have the same question about the One Little Ship episode of DS9 where they make the runabout really small?
Oh, no, I was a teenager. I hadn't taken physics yet. Right? Like, I think when that came out, I had basically just read about the Einstein-Rosen-Podolsky paradox. And I'm just like, this raises a lot of questions. And, I went in search of answers to those questions. And I realized physics is bullshit. I mean, maybe they're on the track to understand the underpinning quantitative parts of the universe. But you know what? That doesn't lower the cost of diapers at Costco. Anyways.
What are you talking about?
I've totally gone off the rails here. Basically, what I'm saying is, no, One Little Ship did not raise these same questions. But somehow, I was seriously concerned about this very topic when I watched Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Oh, okay.
How does shrinkage work? And I mean shrinkage in the context of, things miniaturizing. Because I am very familiar with, how shrinkage works for males. Pro tip, kids, stay away for cold things if you intend to get naked.
Thanks. I'm glad you're here to give us these words of wisdom, these pearls.
Oh my God! Can we move on? I feel like this whole thing is just
I'm upset about this. So why the D20 and why is he eating random things? Are we just saying
they're not eating random things? They're eating things that have the chemical composition that the Intrepid crew it wasn't the Intrepid. The Endeavor crew believed that they could use to build their
way out, basically.
Parallel universe bridge.
All right, I see. So sucking up all the people with they're gonna do the Equinox thing of capturing life forms and turning them into energy, kind of a thing.
Did they consume any life forms?
I don't know. Were they going to? Because they
I don't think so. I think they sucked up people, but those people were a side effect of them sucking up things.
Okay.
No, it's still not doesn't make sense to me, none of this makes any goddamn sense. It is, hey, let's do a thing and then figure out how to explain it later.
Got it. All right. Yeah, I was hoping there would be more something there, but it just turned into the D20 sucking people up and, shrug. Okay, it's fine. The one other thing I wanted to call out about this subplot is the whole energy cells thing. I'm wondering if I'm also overreacting to this. So we've seen in this show and I think no other Star Trek, that quote energy cells are these like handheld, like kind of jagged crystal things. I think we saw it when they get the tricorder with the purple stripe, they get the entity to make a tricorder, and then they force it to poop out an energy cell too, and it's this just crystalline, jagged thing that they put in the tricorder. So we see it again here, and apparently it's this thing where they just have energy crystal cells, and you can just charge them up by shooting them. What the heck is? Am I crazy? Does this just seem like it's just incompatible with like Star Trek tech from what we know of it?
Okay, so yes, you are crazy, but I get how you got here. Because, like, Star Trek tech is very vague, and in the real world, there is no shooting things with a laser that results in the thing you shot being better at the job it was designed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super weird. But you know what? It's this weird sci-fi trope that is very retro of crystals do everything. That, you know what? I'm actually going to be okay with this gag. It is.
I mean, I like it for the plot. It's good, but just this whole, like, you jam a crystal into your tricorder and then it works. And I assume phasers, too. Like, does all tech work out from
but this happens in Star Trek a lot of times. We're like, hey, there's these crystals here, and they somehow plug whatever piece of technology they've got into the crystals.
Right.
And it's very much a Star Trek thing. And so I can let it go. Yes, it's dumb. Yes, it doesn't make any sense. But it's kind of Star Trek. I'm okay with it.
Sure. Fair enough. But yeah, they resolve that whole thing with the ship having caused all the nanite business, and Jeriner gets dissolved at the end. So do you have anything to add about that before we talk about your favorite character once again?
Wait, we're going to go back to... Oh, Jesus Christ, dude. I don't want to talk about T'Lyn.
Yes, you do.
But I feel like I have to.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all that's left. Well, actually, there's a couple of things that are left. But T'Lyn is the only big thing.
Yeah. So, what's up with T'Lyn just in general being... I don't know. We talked about it last episode too, but she's getting less and less Vulcan-y every episode, right?
You know what? So let's start with the vibe tubes. That does not seem like a thing Vulcans would be into.
Oh, why not?
What does that even mean? Vibe tubes kind of imply that your method of playing them is emotional.
Okay.
Feeling the vibes thing.
Oh. Okay.
That is very much a emotional hippie, less logic, more intuitive. It doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
But you know what? It makes me like T'Lyn a lot more. So, okay, Lower Decks.
The vibe tubes help you get into T'Lyn? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, Jesus, dude. Wow, that is like the creepiest thing you've ever said. Moving on!
But no, I was just saying that she's dealing with all of these things. So she welcomes Tendi back. She's all into Krog. And, the whole accepting the autograph thing. And she's getting less and less Vulcan-y. She's getting more human-y, it feels like.
I think it's more embracing who she really is. But can we take a moment where, like the whole thing is she's very un-Vulcan in this episode. And, I love the moment where she loses focus.
Yeah, gets distracted.
Yeah, because she sees tubes.
The tubes.
Yeah, what is with the Warp Core 5 and tubes, man? How are we getting here? Jesus, T'Lyn.
The thing I love about that scene is she drops the word propinquity, which I had to Google. I didn't know what the heck that meant.
Yeah, I would assume such, because, Stavros, I don't know if you're aware of this, but you're kind of a basic bitch. I mean...
It's true. Absolutely true.
Yes.
I had to Google it. In case you didn't know, propinquity means
I gotta give credit. This is like me and Apodictic, where I frequently drop that word when I want to make people be like, what the fuck? I feel like she kind of threw that out there.
You used that in conversation before? Propinquity?
No, propinquity, no. My propinquity is apodictic. Nobody knows what that word means, but it is very a basic like concept, and I could explain it in a couple of words. But I feel like that is her attempt to like grab on to her vulcaninity, right?
Her vulcanness, by you dropping that word?
Vulcaninity. Get on board for this.
Vulcaninity.
Vulcaninity.
I'm with you. Okay. Anything else you want to say about Talin? She's vibing with the tubes.
Okay, there's actually
propiniquity.
There's a couple of things.
Mm-hmm.
I love that she is into basically the Jimmy Buffett style resort rock. I love that is her thing. Definitely sets her apart. You know what? No, fuck that. Vulcans would probably be into any music that really fits the context of the music, right?
Okay, sure.
But I love when she finally meets Rock Talk. Wait, what was his name?
Krog was his name.
Yes. I don't know why I wanted to call him Rock Talk. Oh, God damn it. I've been watching
that's a Discovery, or that's a Prodigy.
Yeah, I've been watching too much Prodigy. God damn it. I love the fact their exchange where it's all like he's totally into Vulcan logic, which is just dumb. Someone saying that's illogical doesn't immediately make them into Vulcan logic. But I also love the fact
if you're like the a-hole logic from like Enterprise or what kind of Vulcan logic.
Yeah. But I love the fact that he's all like, in my quest for inner chill. And when the inevitable Lower Decks movie happens, if that is not the like subtitle of the movie, Lower Decks, the quest for inner chill, I'm going to be very upset.
That's the Talin movie subtitle.
You know what? No, it's just it's totally it fits. It's really fantastic. Yeah. Oh my god! And I love how much like when she gets the signed picture of Krog, she immediately is all like, "Oh, this has no value," and then Tendy's like, "Well, I guess I'll just throw it away." And she's like, "No, I will keep it for scientific." It's such a great gag. Oh my god. Talin is
that fits her like being less Vulcan-y. She's keeping it for sentimental purposes.
It's not even her being less Vulcan-y. Like a big element of the Vulcans is how pretentious they are, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that really plays into that. And I just such a great bit. 100% loved that.
Yeah, it was really good. Okay, well, what else? I mean, before getting into final thoughts, I mean, did anything else escape my talk that you want to mention?
Yeah, I mean, there's the whole Mariner and Jen gag where I don't even remember who it was all like, "Oh, you're trying to make it work like your parents do."
Was that Tendy or Rutherford, one of those guys?
It was so awful. Like, there has been no indication that the Freemans have any sort of marital problems.
That's true.
I guess technically
they do make it work, but
they make it work with a long distance relationship. And anyone who's ever been in that, it's a lot of effort to make a long distance relationship work. Definitely. But making it work in this context,
it's different, right?
Yeah, it's not exactly.
Not talking to someone in a year is not making it work.
It's not a healthy thing.
No, not at all.
It is awful. So yeah, I mean. From the episode, that's all I got. We do need to do, at some point, some follow-up from our previous episodes.
In what way?
Okay, so.
Yes.
We have a prolific commentator on YouTube. Have you noticed this?
Oh, yes, I have seen it.
Yeah. So, they've offered to be our third co-host. And frankly, I don't think we need a third. Frankly. Jesus. Thanks for calling me out, Stavros. Yeah, we've definitely had a few too many at this point. We don't need a third co-host.
We don't need the propinquity of another co-host.
Two co-hosts is enough. So, Stavros, I feel like you need to take a step back.
Okay.
I'm sorry to say this. It's been a hard thing to say.
Mm-hmm.
Much like, Jen had to force Mariner to accept. Actually, none of this is true.
I feel like this is more that you're going to need to talk to your therapist about.
You know what? Can we just stop talking about therapy until BetterHelp gives us a sponsorship? We're done with therapy.
Fair enough.
Is it fair? I mean,
I think so.
Are we done here? Have we had enough?
I think so. I think we've talked a lot about this episode. I think the balance of comedy and plot is a little in the favor of comedy this episode. And
yeah,
I'm not saying I hated it, but I wish it was a little stronger in the plot department. But
the plot worked.
Still gave some funnies, and
the
art, it was great. So
oh my god,
pluses, but
this season, like the artwork has been taken up to a new level. Like they
definitely
fantastic animation. Like I even feel like in this episode they did really good callbacks to previous seasons in the artwork and the animation.
Right.
But at the same time, that can't carry an episode. We really went in depth on how funny this episode is and how great the bits are. But like plot wise, it feels really random.
Yeah, a little rough maybe.
But you know what? I mean, everything can't be a filet mignon. Sometimes you're getting the cheap cuts from the Safeway down the street.
That's true. But I think that's all we have to say about that. I think you need to get us out of here before we talk about your childhood or something.
I mean, I could talk for hours. You know how I am. Like, talking is 79% of what I do.
Yeah.
But I am all out of booze, and I am all out of Treks. So next week, we'll do this all again. I mean, not exactly this. That would kind of be boring, talking about the same episode and drinking the same thing. So we'll have a brand new Star Trek, brand new booze. Maybe this was pretty good. But either way, catch us in the meantime on X at Lower Dorks. Or, if that's not enough, find yourself a nanite clump and shrink yourself down to nano size. 'Cause our boy Stavros, he loves it micro. If you know what I mean. Wink, wink.
Yeah, I've never suffered from shrinkage, so I wouldn't know.
I'm pretty sure you have, unless you've never been in a body of water that was cooler than your body temperature.